USA with Scott Autry, the Moran brothers Kelly and Sean, Bobby Schwartz replacing Steve Grahame, who was injured, Dennis Sigalos, and reserves John Cook and Brad Oxley.
Experienced international performer. Next to him will be Schwartz here. Grid 3 has Andy Grahame, the second reserve in the England squad. Andy, this is his first appearance. This is Andy's first appearance for England in this country as a successful member of the British Lions touring team. He'll be in blue, and on the outside there, Scott Autry in the white helmet colour for the Americans. So as the rain comes down, we move to this remarkable view, unique view indeed of Speedway, from our high camera way up on the third and fourth corners. We'll watch the start from this angle. So looking at it from left to right, Davis, then Schwartz, then Andy Grahame, and on the outside, Autry. That's heat 5, comes under starters' orders, and away they go. And it looks as though Davis again has made the jump. Davis and Grahame coming around the outside, and oh my word, this is some start to his career in this country for Andy Grahame. He really made a picture start. There he is looking over his shoulder, looking very comfortable as Davis comes under pressure from Schwartz for second place. There is Grahame. The battle really is all about second place here, but Grahame really is winning this one. Looking back for partner John Davis, remember the Americans are 4 up, so if England can stay first and second here, we'll level the scores. This young man, Andy Grahame, 24 years, 7 months old, and a marvellous season with Birmingham up there in the Midlands, and fully justifying his first cap in this country, and indeed a very early introduction to the action here in heat 5. So an unexpected pairing. Grahame and Davis take maximum points from heat 5. The Wimbledon crowd here are enjoying that. Third place was Schwartz, but that was a debut to remember for Andy Grahame. And heat 7, we have a slice of Speedway history. This sport, of course, has a great tradition of family connections and racing brethren. And for the first time in an international in this country, certainly against the Americans anyway, we have got the Grahame brothers from the Midlands in partnership, both coming in as late replacements. Alan Grahame will be in red, he'll be in grid 3. There is his younger brother, Andy Grahame, who we saw making a fair old start to his test career over here with a race win in his first ride. He'll be on the inside, and they're in against the crack American pairing, Dennis Sigalos. He's in grid 2 in yellow and black. And then we have Alan Grahame, who was only notified at 3 o'clock this afternoon. He's had a rare old dash down the motorway to be here on time. He's in grid 3, and Bruce Pennell on the outside, the American world individual champion, of course, who's been such a standard bearer and a glamorous image for the sport. He's on the outside here. Heat 7, it's 18 apiece. Could still go either way. The England team management pairing of John Berrier and Eric Bucott playing their reserves with gay abandon. Here we go, heat 7. And again, it looks like Andy Grahame has gone away. Andy Grahame gets clear. Sigalos is second. There is Pennell coming roaring around the outside. Made some ground up there. Got a good line. But it's Andy Grahame. And what a hero this lad is turning out to be. He's in front. Pennell's in second place. Sigalos is third. Alan Grahame is at the back. But it looks like England have found a very unexpected trump card. And Andy Grahame, my word, he is stretching them. And that's the world champion behind him, remember, and brother Alan is getting up. There's Andy Grahame, and we look back for the battle for second place because his brother Alan hasn't stopped trying yet. Still Andy Grahame in front. And they have begun to stretch out a little bit in the minor placings. But there's no doubt about the leader of heat number 7 to the last lap, Andy Grahame, formerly with Milton Keynes. Second was Pennell, third was Sigalos. The Americans tucking into the minor placings to share the heat. But Andy Grahame here, again the winner from pillar to post. And he is being a little short of sensational here so far this evening.
Andy, what about that for a start in a test match?
Yeah, it's a great start, Gary. Really had 2 wins. My first test match in England. I'm very pleased, yes.
What about this start? Because you've been starting so well, and here you leave the world champion standing.
Yes, well, obviously, on the conditions of the track this evening, Guyton is essential really to get out the gate and try, you know, the show from your rear wheel just fills you the riders in. And unfortunately, one of them riders was my brother, but you know, you've got to make the gate, and under these conditions, you've just got to go for it for yourself. And John Berry said to me, he said, if you do make the gate, Andy, he says, don't look round for Alan, he says, just get on with it. So that's what I did.
Were you looking round for the world champion at all?
No, you don't have to look round for Bruce, you can hear him coming usually.
Andy Grahame on the inside, he's in blue, reserve replacement for Gordon Kennett. 2 wins and a last. Next to him in white, it is Kelly Moran. Grid 3 is the mercurial Kenny Carter in red. On the outside, Sean Moran in yellow and black. 49.35. A handsome heat advantage here could wrap up this first test match for the Lions. Here we go, the heat, number 15. And it is Grahame from the inside and Carter from the outside as Sean Moran tries to burst through. But it's the England's Lions in front, and it's looking good for the home nation in this first test match. Carter moving outside his partner Andy Grahame. Sean Moran will try to find something extra, I'm sure, to get up and challenge. But, well, there's Carter in front. He really has looked rather in a class of his own here this evening. In complete command, looking so authoritative and so comfortable for a rider of comparatively limited experience. There's Carter. Grahame, too, has been a rare match winner, although he'll have to watch out for Moran. There's Carter, and Moran, Sean Moran, has slid through, or has he? It's very, very tight for second place. Once again, Sean Moran bursting through on the inside. There's Carter in front. The battle really is for second place. And Sean Moran has, oh, well, on the line there. It was difficult to separate the two of them in second place. In fact, just getting up there, it was Andy Grahame on the line. Carter won it.
So after 15 heats and with 3 still to go, an unassailable lead for England, 54 points to 36 to clinch the first of this 5-test series. Well, the British final was decided over 20 heats, and after heat number 8, each of the 16 riders had completed 2 of their allotted 5 rides, and only Andy Grahame was still undefeated. He was on 6 points, having set a new track record with the first of his rides. His brother Alan was 1 point behind, along with another pair of brothers, Phil and Peter Collins. Kenny Carter was also on 5 points, while Michael Lee, the 1980 world champion, and Chris Morton shared 4 points. Simon Wigg and Paul Woods had 3 points. The third Collins brother Les was on 2, along with Malcolm Holloway and Dave Jessup. Mike Ferreira and Kevin Jolly had 1 point, while John Davis and John Louis had failed to score.
Inside has had a desperately unhappy evening. Les Collins in grid 2 could do with some points too. He's seen both his brothers really gathering the points in every race, and he really will have to move some now to qualify. And the same might be said for Dave Jessup, the England captain and a world-class performer without any doubt. He's only got 2, whereas on the outside we have the apple cart merchant. Really has upset the form book, Andy. Although Midlanders will say it's no surprise to them, he really has been in superb form, unbeaten. He is the leader after 2 races, and he'll be looking to 3 points and a win here to maintain that top spot on the leaderboard. There is Andy Grahame in his first British final. So Davis on the inside, then Les Collins. Grid 3, Jessup on the outside. Andy Grahame, here we go, heat 12. And this time it is Grahame who gets away. There was a very ragged start. Davis is second. Les Collins coming around the outside, looking for second place. He just about gets the drop on Davis going into the bottom corner. And Jessup's at the back. And here's another surprise. Grahame didn't look to have made the start, but he certainly made up an awful lot of ground up to the first turn. And he's well clear now and kicking on. Second place, Les Collins. Third is Davis. Collins is certainly making a little bit of ground on Grahame, but this slender young man from Birmingham doesn't make any mistakes and goes very, very quickly. There's the battle up front. We look back, and they're just going out of our picture. Till John Davis in third place. This is the leaders. So it's going to be Andy Grahame, Still unbeaten, second place Les Collins, third Davis and Dave Jessup. Could this possibly be the end of the World Championship road for him and the start of a World Championship fairy tale for this man, Andy Grahame? 3 rides down, just 2 to go in this Sunday Mirror British final of the World Championship, and there are the riders looking for qualification places at White City in the overseas final. Andy Grahame, surprise leader, still unbeaten after 3 races. He has 9 points, but he still has to meet Kenny Carter, who's breathing right down his neck in second place, along with Peter Collins. Brother Phil Collins is in there too on 7 points, along with Andy's brother Alan Grahame on 7, and Chris Morton. Michael Lee's back on 5. Then we have Les Collins and Paul Woods battling for the final qualification place. Remember, only 8 go forward, and noticeable, most noticeable by his absence from that leaderboard, is Dave Jessup with only 2 points.
Well, what a start for you two Grahame brothers. Andy the clear leader and you 4th place equal, Alan. What about your brother, first of all? What a dramatic start for him after 3 rides.
I think he's doing very well, Gary. The way he's going, I don't see any reason why he shouldn't win it here today.
Well, Andy?
Yeah, well, Gary, I'm pleased myself. I came here just with the attitude to qualify. I am in with a chance of winning it, and let's hope I can pull it off, yeah.
Alan, it's all going right for this young lad this season, isn't it?
Yeah, he's having a terrific season. He had a winter down in Australia. That set things going very well. Came back and just carried on where he left off, and he's going from strength to strength.
And there's the man, the Grahame brothers' fear, Kenny Carter, coming out here in heat 13. He has dropped a point to the flying Chris Morton, but still very much in touching distance of this British title. Was second last year, has sworn to go one better here at Brandon in this 1982 final. Kenny Carter will be in grid 3, which hasn't been one of the quickest grids away from the start, although he's showed himself to be ruthless and resourceful coming from the back. Carter to watch for in grid 3. But we just look across to the inside grid, because here is the man that the eyes of Coventry and indeed British Speedway are on at the moment, Andy Grahame. His first British final, unbeaten with 3 wins under his belt, and in the race now, which may well sort out the eventual destination of the 1982 British Championship. And it's getting a little nervy there. Grahame has turned back probably to keep them just on tender hooks a little. Looking across the other 2 starters here, we have Phil Collins. Well, of course, Phil's had a good night. He has a total of 7 points. And Paul Woods on the outside in yellow and black is by no means out of the fight for qualification places. So heat 13 may well be decisive. There is Woods. Really is hot competition for him here. On the inside, Grahame unbeaten on 9 points. Next to him, Phil Collins on his birthday, going like a bomb. Grid 3 has Kenny Carter, who really must beat Andy Grahame here if he wishes to realistically hold out hopes of the British Championship, the one he values so dearly. And on the outside, Paul Woods, heat 13, the one that can sort it all out. And away they go, and it is Carter, and it is Grahame who move out, and Grahame was the ruthless one. And this is Super Speedway, because Carter's fighting back. That really was a no-holds-barred first corner, and it's Grahame in front. Carter is second, Phil Collins is third. They all bunch up. Well, he's only a little guy, what does he weigh, about 8 stone, but he certainly moved Kenny Carter over there. And British Speedway really has found a new star. Andy Grahame going away from Carter. And Carter's got his work cut out to hold back Phil Collins' challenge. And Collins is going down the inside. It's happening up front, it's happening in second place. We're having some really splendid speedway here at Coventry. This is the last lap, and again Carter and Collins are ducking and diving and weaving and bobbing, and look how tight it is there. And Andy Grahame is unconcerned. He's going to win heat 13, and that may well be the one that takes the British title to the younger Grahame brother and to Birmingham. And the crowd are rising to him, because he really made that race his at the first corner, and it was as exciting and as tough a first corner as you're likely to see.
Kenny, did you have trouble with your bike in that race?
Yes, I went to the start, and it kept dragging me into the start, did the clutch, and I thought something was wrong.
but I couldn't go back. I thought I made a decent start, and I knew Andy was on the inside, so I tried to go around him, and as I locked in, it just nearly pitched me over the handlebars, and I just hung on and kept going, and it just, you know, I thought my bike actually was seizing up because it kept vibrating, and I just settled for second. Then Phil come past, and I thought my bike was going to go any time, and luckily I held on to a second, but my frame snapped in half both sides.
Well, you didn't know that, Andy. Let's take you through the start, because it was a remarkable start for you.
Yeah, see, Kenny's off guide 3 there, and I'm off guide 1, and we both sort of come to the corner together. Phil just gets chopped out there, and so we touch there, and then see, I've got the drive on the inside, and Kenny's, whatever happened to his frame, obviously put him in a bit of trouble, but, you know, I just got the drive there and just come out on top in front of Kenny.
OK, well, Kenny, very quickly, a lot of people tip you to win this title, but the lad here has done well, even though you had trouble with your bike.
Yeah, he's going well, but he hasn't won it yet, you know.
There are the leaders. Andy Grahame clearly in front on 12 points, 2 clear of the second place riders, Kenny Carter and his elder brother Alan Grahame. Peter Collins and Chris Morton are on 9 points, Phil Collins on 8, Michael Lee on 7 and Les Collins on 6. Now those are the 8 qualification places, but it all depends what happens in this last outing, because look who's breathing right down their neck now. Dave Jessup on 5 points, and he's still got an awful lot to race for. And we come into the crucial heat number 18, the meeting of the 2 Grahame brothers with Andy, and he'll be in the white helmet. There he is, preparing, needing to win this one to take the British crown and the £500 first prize. Biggest race of his young career, no question about that. He gets pushed off into the arena, and he's got his brother, big brother Alan, who's made sure of a qualification place. But it is a pleasant thought, and indeed a heartening one, that we have a Birmingham rider, because Birmingham Speedway, once such a stronghold in the old days of Graham Warren, Alan Hunt, Doug Davis, so many stars, have been through a lean patch recently, although through no fault of their promoters. And it must be said that they do seem to have a real star here, and that will really get the Brummagem hordes on the march. Here is Alan Grahame from just across the Midlands at Cradley Heath. And we have got Michael Lee in here as well, and Michael Lee will need points. There's Grahame, Alan. Well, there is the lineup, and this really is a vitally important race. Alan Grahame, sure of qualification, could scrape into the first 3. Michael Lee must get points, because he knows Dave Jessup's has finished on 8 points. So Lee's qualification place in grave danger unless he scores here. Andy Grahame needing points, needing a win to ensure the championship. In fact, he only needs second place to make sure of this British crown. And on the outside, Chris Morton on 9 points. And he too could just scrape into the first 3 with a win here. So we have got a nail biter at both ends of the scale. Andy Grahame looking to this one to win his first major individual crown, and doing it too at his first attempt, and that really is a notable effort. And that's another Grahame brother, that's John, the 3rd member with Reading in the British League, formerly with Oxford, looking well, a little bit pensive. I'm sure that his favours are split down the middle here. Really is tense out there. You can put your hand out into this rather sultry night air here in the Midlands and take the atmosphere by great handfuls. It really is getting a bit electric. On the inside, Alan Grahame. Next to him, Michael Lee, desperate for points. He cannot afford a last place here, Michael Lee. With 3, Andy Grahame needing a second place to win the British Championship at his first attempt. And on the outside, perhaps the most spectacular spoiler of them all, Chris Morton from Bellevue, who loves to roar around the outside. Heat number 18, the one that surely will decide the destination of the 1982 British title. And it's Alan Grahame has given Michael Lee a fearful wallop into the first corner, and Lee has gone from second to last. And that again was a muscle-flexing first corner. It is Alan Grahame in front. In second place now, it is Andy Grahame. Although in third place, Chris Morton is really getting in among them. and Michael Lee's at the back, and that can be disastrous for him. Oh, again, we're having the most splendid speedway. So it's Alan Grahame in front, brother Andy in second place, Morton still buzzing around the boards, and Lee looks as though he might well be out of the World Championship. The second place will be enough for Andy Grahame. Certainly not getting any favours from big brother Alan. And I don't suppose you'll ask for any. And after what, about half a lap, he won't need any. Because it is a benefit night for the Grahams. Alan wins it, but Andy Grahame it is, who is the new British champion. In third place it was Morton, and I'll bet the first man to congratulate him will be big brother Alan. There it is, and Brandon Stadium erupts. Alan Grahame, his first defeat of the night, he won't be worried about that. A second place is enough to give him the £500 Sunday Mirror cheque and the title. And his class and courage have been stitched through this British final like a gold seam. They'll be waiting for him at the pit gate, there's no doubt about that. Well, he's an unassuming young man, just a shy smile. And there is a very handy Andy Grahame, the new British Speedway champion, and a really very worthy one.
Well, Andy Grahame, you are the British champion.
Yeah, I can't believe it, Gary. I came here to qualify, and well, Stevie B was in this position last year, and I can understand what it was like. It must have been fantastic for him, because he came here just to qualify, and he did the same as what I did. I just can't believe it.
How much do you have to thank brother Alan there at the start just to make sure that last heat?
Oh, Alan and I had a talk before the race, and we decided we both was going to go for the race. You know, we had nothing planned, because if Alan did, like, Alan's in with a chance, like, still for second, I think, isn't he?
Yes.
So I was just delighted, really.
Well, what next?
Qualify through to from the next one.
Well, you're the British champion. Congratulations, Andy Grahame. You've had a terrific night here at Coventry.
Thank you very much, Gary.
Well played.
Yes, a triumphant night for the Grahame boys. Andy winning the British title with 14 points. Alan beaten into second place by a single point. Kenny Carter was third. Then came Phil Collins and his brother, the former world champion Peter. Chris Morton was followed by the other Collins brother Les, and Dave Jessup, England's captain, just made the 8th qualifying place for the overseas final with 8 points. But the night belonged to Birmingham's 24-year-old star, Andy Grahame.
And there is the main British Championship trophy. That's been in some famous hands over the years, coming from the chairman of the Speedway Control Board, Jerry Flewitt. Well, he's shy, he's unassuming. He really isn't the overall image of a daredevil speedster, Andy Grahame.
After they'd all completed 2 of their 5 rides, this was the position. Kelly Moran and Bruce Pennell of America, both on maximum 6 points. Pennell, of course, the defending champion. Kenny Carter and Les Collins of England and Dennis Sigalas of America, all on 5. Hans Nielsen from Denmark on 4. England's Peter Collins on 3. And Sweden's Jan Andersson on 2. Also on 2 points, Phil Crump of Australia, Dave Jessup, England, Kai Niemi, Finland, Ollie Olsen and Bo Peterson of Denmark. 2 riders on 1 point, Eric Gunderson of Denmark and Larry Ross of New Zealand, and England's Andy Grahame yet to score. So each rider still with 3 more rides, and our commentator in Vetlanda now is Dave Lanning.
Heat 9, there's the lineup. Andy Grahame, no score. Dave Jessup looking for points in blue, 2 points only. Hans Nielsen, 4 points. Peter Collins on the outside with 3. Heat number 9. And it looks as though Jessup has made the start this time, although Graham's got there first, and Collins has come swooping through in the most magnificent piece of cornering and bored a hole through, and Jessup's gone through it, and so too has Nielsen. And that was action with a very, very large A around the first corner. Jessup leads it, second place Peter Collins, Nielsen third, losing his helmet colour, trying to bore a hole right through Peter Collins, doesn't succeed, and Andy Grahame, who really flourished briefly, is really finding the pace a bit hot, and Jessup's in front, and they're all steaming up behind him. And Nielsen has moved under Collins, and Collins is almost collided with Grahame back as Andy Grahame goes through, and Peter Collins, who came storming through on the first two corners, is now trailing. And it's Nielsen hard after Jessup looking over his inside shoulder. Collins moving back into third place with Grahame battling for his World Championship existence. A really classic battle. And what a race this has been. Jessup in front. Nielsen still second. Andy Graham's going to open his account at the expense of Peter Collins. And on the line, Jessup. Nielsen holds on from Grahame. That really was perhaps the most enterprising and exciting race of the evening thus far. And here is the leaderboard. In front, Les Collins, gloriously for England on 11 points. Dennis Tagalos is second with 10. Kenny Carter on 9. Kelly Moran on 9. Hans Nielsen on 8. Dave Jessup and Bruce Pennell also on 8 points. Now, they've surely all definitely qualified. Phil Crump on 6 points is still dithering, but should go through. Kai Niemi has 5 points. Then we have Bo Peterson and Jan Anderson on 4, and they're still under some pressure from Eric Gunderson and Peter Collins on 3 points each. So still a lot of question marks here in Vetlanda as we approach the last stages of this 1982 Intercontinental Final. Les Collins has finished his ride on 12 points. We've got 2 riders in Heat 19 who, with a win here, can move up to tie with him for a runoff for the Intercontinental title. Kenny Carter on the inside needs a win. He has 9 points. And a win will take him into a runoff with Collins for the championship. Grid 2, Phil Crump has 6 points. There's Carter, needing a win. Now, Phil Crump has 6, so really wants 1 point at least to be sure of qualification. Then we have Kelly Moran. He has 9 points, so a win here will take him into a runoff with Les Collins for the championship. And on the outside, Andy Grahame has 3 points. And, well, I suppose it's still conceivable technically with a win here. He might just squeeze in, but it's very doubtful. Heat 19, Carter and Moran looking for wins. Crump looking for points. And it is Carter from the inside who's got away. Carter hits the corner in front. In second place, coming hard round the board, it is young Grahame, and Grahame has got the legs of both Moran and Phil Crump, as Kelly Moran tries the high wide outside run as well. And they're all tightening up, and it's Grahame who's moved up front now. Grahame in front, Carter is second. In third place is Crump, and the English lads, well, they are showing them the way home here again. It hasn't been a bad night for the English line, because Andy Grahame, again the outsider who we didn't reckon, has moved up front. Carter sitting nice and tight behind him, and this will mean that an Englishman will win the Intercontinental crown. That will be Les Collins, but at the moment all the conjecture is how many can we get through to Los Angeles, because Carter clearly is not really challenging Grahame, and Andy Grahame, the British champion, may have left his big effort a bit late. This win, if he goes around the last 2 corners, will take him on to 6 points. So Grahame wins it. Second place Carter, third was Crump. Moran was at the back. So Les Collins it is, who is the Intercontinental champion. And Andy Grahame here, the winner of Heat 19, must just sit and sweat and get the computer out to see if his last-ditch effort was enough. We now have 10 qualifiers, certainly, and we have Andy Grahame on 6 points at the moment as the 11th qualifier. But all of these riders in Heat 20 can go through. We have got Peterson on the inside, Collins, grid 2, Grahame on the outside. The prize, the last place in the first ever Speedway final to be staged in the United States, will be the 37th World Speedway Final. Andy Grahame it is, who is delaying the start. We saw Peter Collins win his last ride. That was all he had to do. Andy Grahame, well, remarkable. He only had 1 point after 2 rides and only 3 points after 4, yet here he is in a runoff. That just shows how the fate and the fortunes can fluctuate here in World Championship Speedway. So who's it to be? Peterson on the inside, Collins grid 2, Grahame on the outside. The start so crucial, and it looks like Collins has gone away, and so too is Grahame. It's certainly the 2 Englishmen, and it's Andy Grahame who's up front. Peter Collins is second, Peterson is third, and Andy Grahame, this 24-year-old from Birmingham, whose chances seem to have gone, is leading, but he's got Peter Collins, and Collins has moved through. There was a gap left there, and Peter Collins showing his experience of so long at the top. Remember, he was the 1976 World Speedway Championship winner and has moved through. And unless the English boys do something very silly, they're going to get 4 out of 5 through. So Collins in front, Grahame second, still pressing hard. So Peterson is being dropped. You might think that's justice after the way he stole the last point in his last ride. Collins with just a lap to go. Remember, his younger brother Les has won this title. It's going to be a night of celebration if PC can hold on for just 3/4 of a lap. Andy Grahame will make one desperate last effort, I know, to try and find the outside run. He might just have it, as you know. Peter Collins is going to hold on, going over the line. He's made it. Peter Collins it is for England, going through to his 8th World Final. England has got 4 of their 5 finalists through, and Andy Grahame will go there as a reserve. So it's been a heartening night for England and a night of most enjoyable speedway.
Well, here are the 11 qualifiers for the World Final in Los Angeles. Les Collins the winner, and Kenny Carter in 2nd place. Then Dennis Sigalas, who beat Hans Nielsen in the 3rd place runoff. 2 more Americans, defending champion Bruce Pennell, and Kelly Moran, who in fact comes from Los Angeles.
In the words of the Cradley promoter Peter Adams, this 1982 Golden Hammer meeting is worthy of the World Final itself. Such is the calibre of riders attracted to this Cradley track here tonight. And perhaps the form these men show will give us some guide as to how that World Final in Los Angeles in 1 month's time will go. Well, we couldn't have been luckier with the weather. It's been a beautiful day here. A far cry from last year in 1980, when both Golden Hammer events were washed out by torrential rain. Well, with the Collins and the Grahames, with Kenny Carter, with Bruce Pennell, we've got just about every big name from the world of Speedway for this 1982 Golden Hammer. Sit back and enjoy it with us, and your commentator, Dave Lanning.
Heat number 4 then, on the inside, Lance King from Cradley Heath in America. Next to him, Kenny Carter, England's number 1 at the moment. Andy Grahame, the reigning British champion in white, and Chris Morton, who is the rider who in fact holds this title. He was the winner in 1980, and this meeting was twice washed out by the weather last year, so Chris in effect is defending the Golden Hammer title. Carter is the man they love to hate here at Dudleywood after his clashes with the home idol Bruce Pennell. He's in blue and is a rare Yorkshire competitor. Here we go, heat 4. And it is Carter who makes up all the ground for the first corner. Carter leads it. In 2nd place, it's Grahame. And Morton was really squeezed out around the first 2 corners. Really was merciless on the holder.